What's going on, everybody? What's happening? I wasn't really planning this. I just said, you know what? Screw it. Let's go live. Let's see who wants to talk, who wants to show up. Hey. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming out, guys. It wasn't it's been a really, really busy weekend, as some of you may know. And I was like, you know what? We need to keep this busyness going. We need to keep this momentum continuing. And really, I think for the most part, I think that's going to be really good for the whole community because I feel like we made so much progress on a lot of people over the weekend, especially with that career panel or the panel that we did where we talked about getting a job in tech and how to learn and different methods. And I was like, we need to really keep that going into the beginning of this week and really help some people, jumpstart this week and really reach that next level. We got a comment here. I'm a very slow learner. That's all that's holding me back. Okay. I'm a very slow learner. I'll be honest with you. I feel like most of the time when I'm learning, I have to study the exact thing like 5 times before I get it. I feel like some people they can just touch code and all of a sudden they're at that next level. And then some people like me, like I really struggle to learn these concepts. Nail, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Coded communities here, everybody. If you want to see a JavaScript developer that knows what he's talking about, check out his channel. Highly recommend them. Now, what are you doing right now? But yeah, some people could just touch code and they know everything, and then some people like me, where I've got to study it 4 or 5 times before I fully comprehend everything. So it doesn't matter if it takes you a while to understand the concept or to gain that knowledge. What matters is you stay persistent in that act and you keep growing. How to make jobs? What do you mean by make jobs? Do you mean by get a job? How do you deal with the web dev market saturation? I'll be honest with you. Hey, Nell, do you want to jump on the stream? If you do, let me know and I'll send you the link. I'll be honest with you. I don't necessarily think that the market is saturated. Like a lot of this has been something I've been hearing only in the last week that people are saying it's saturated. I don't feel like it's saturated because I can tell you off of Twitter alone, just in the last month, I've had 40 people literally land jobs in tech. All right, I'm sending you the link. So I don't think it's saturated. I think there's a perception that it's just hard to get a job. People are hiring, then probably not hiring at the way they were before, but I can guarantee right now people are hiring. And Nell, go ahead and check Discord. I just sent you the link. Finally get to have Nell on my live stream. Yeah, so the market genuinely isn't saturated. A lot of companies are still hiring. A lot of companies want developers. I can tell you right now, it may be a little bit more competitive. And the reason why the competitiveness exists is because 30 million people lost their jobs in America this year, right? Because of coronavirus. 30 million people. Like, just think about the number. That's a massive number. Right? So if you have 30 million people that have lost their jobs, many of which are developers, and again, you can't really blame the companies because nobody really knew what was happening. Nobody knew how to navigate this space. And a lot of companies weren't even set up for remote employees. They weren't set up for remote offices. They weren't set up for you working here and that person there. They didn't know how to handle all that. Zoom really wasn't like a widespread talked about thing at that time. So the fact that we were able to pivot, that these companies are now hiring the people that they need, and they're and here's another thing too, it is Q4, it's the end of the financial year, right? A lot of people aren't getting ready to hire till the Q1. No.
Hey, how's things?
It's going, man. It's going. I wasn't even planning this. I just said, you know what? I'm going to do a spur of the moment stream and see if people want to talk, and if they do, cool. Because I know my morning streams have been very, very successful, and it's 11 a.m. here. So I was I wonder if it's still going to be as popular as the 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. one. Because I know when I was on 6 a.m. the other day, I had almost 200 people in there. I was where did all these people come from? What happened?
Trying to figure out the code so far.
Yeah,
of why
pretty
people
much
keep turning up. Everyone wants to know how to get a job, Danny. It's an important thing. So
yeah, of course. I mean, Yeah, I will say, it's definitely like it's the end of the year too, holiday season. A lot of companies aren't hiring right now, so but then again, you may be still surprised with some opportunities. But I would say like your preparation now should be for hitting quarter one and trying to hit the
Yeah.
ground running when everybody's hiring post holiday season.
I'm interviewing right now for hires in January. So, like, I have to do it. You know, if I want people to start in January, I have to start interviewing them now. And a lot of companies are going to be the same. They want to start the year strong. Now's the time they'll start looking for people.
You know what? Let me tweet this out. You know what? We're going to change this from let's just talk about random things to a job stream. Want to get a job in 2021? Come talk to Nail and self on the live stream. All right, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about how to land the job. So let me ask you this: since you do interview and you do like hire for roles, and
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, you're like the CTO, right?
I just, I don't think I'm meant to talk about it yet, but sure. I'll
Okay,
get through it
no,
first. All right. No, it's fine. So, my company has or is in the process of being acquired. So I'm taking on the position of CTO of another company, which is much bigger than what I have. And as a result, I'm already interviewing lots of people for that new role and everything else.
that's
But I
awesome.
have been in a position before, lead engineer of different teams where I've been hiring for teams. So yeah, I've been interviewing people as a job for years now.
So what like and I know I cover a lot of this on the LinkedIn series. And if you haven't watched the LinkedIn series, why are you on this YouTube channel? You should be watching that LinkedIn series. So after this video, make sure you watch that. But one thing that I would say is with the LinkedIn series and with hiring managers, what is the thing that you look for? Like what is stands out to you when you see an application or a resume? Like what speaks to you to say, okay, I want to kind of have a conversation with this person?
Um, Usually, like first thing first, I said LinkedIn is a great place to look at straight away. So that's where I'll always go to. Before an interview, I always go on somebody's LinkedIn. I see what they say about themselves there, and that's for me a first initial impression. Before I get on a call, if your LinkedIn's not good, I'm gonna probably not be too excited to see you to start. Okay, and that's just being blatantly honest. I know a lot of developers ignore it, but that's where like I put up job posts and things. So why wouldn't I expect people to have a good presence there as well? Um, the next thing I'd look for is what projects people have done. What have they been working on? If you haven't had a job yet, what projects have you built on the side? I don't really care about your qualifications. To me, it's irrelevant because I've met plenty of people with computer science degrees that are idiots in interviews and they can, do a nice fancy algorithm, but that doesn't translate to the job I have them. So I'm very practical in interviewing. I usually give people a broken application to fix during the interview rather than like some tree traversal. So I think that's the only way to really make people stand out. Give people a fair opportunity to try something that they know, and if they fail from there, you talk through it and see why they're failing. Like, are they going to learn fast? If they don't know this or they haven't done it, then we talk through it. And if I feel like I'm going to get along with this person, I might actually give them a chance anyway, even if they bomb the technical side.
So let me ask you this then, because I think that's like the best thing. What could like a junior developer or someone that's never worked in the industry, what can someone like that say to dispel the idea of, okay, I you don't care about the experience, right? But I have none. But also, how can I make you feel like, okay, I'm de-risking myself? Like I'm not a risky hire. I'm going to bring something. What can I do or say in that moment that makes you feel comfortable?
Yeah. It's definitely a case of making sure you seem willing to learn. Like I said, especially if it's your first job, your first thing you're going for. Like I interview mostly for senior positions, but when it's for those junior positions, what I'm looking for is somebody that's super eager. If you're telling me like, look, I don't know this, and you're honest with me, you just say, I don't know this thing, but I really want to learn it. And I'm sure you could help me learn it faster than if I was doing it by myself. You know, that's always a
Mm.
great answer to get because somebody is crying out for mentorship and they're not going to just come in and hide and get a paycheck. They're going to actively seek out that mentorship when they arrive. So that's a great sign to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's kind of one thing that I always say is, especially, excuse me, especially when it comes to a junior role, a lot of companies know, like, okay, this person doesn't know, XYZ. They're okay with that. They're investing in your longevity and growth. That's what they're looking for. And if you come in saying, I don't have all the answers. I'm willing to learn them. I'm willing to research this. I'm willing to build off of that. Then they're going to invest in you. You're not a risky bet anymore. But if you
Yeah.
come in with a half, like, comparative attitude, like, well, I may do this, I may do that, that's not going to get you in the seat that you want to be in. The goal is not just to get there, but to stay there. And the way you stay there is by increasing your skill set and learning. You're going to have to learn whatever there is. And a lot of times you may know a language that the company doesn't really know. And matter of fact, Devin, right here, that's what happened with my new role. Exactly. Like, a lot of the times, you may not know the specific language or framework that they're utilizing on a daily basis. And if you don't know that, the only way you're going to get better is by learning it, right? They're hiring you to learn this. I got hired as a Java engineer. Java is my main language, but I come from a Java Angular stack, and now we're going to a React and Go stack. So it's like, if I wasn't prepared to learn all this and learn these new languages and these new skills, I'd be out the door, right? But I love learning, and that's kind of the whole thing for it. Plus, I'll learn anything you want if you put a paycheck behind it. Like, you put a paycheck behind it, I'll learn anything under the sun. So,
For sure. I think we've both had terrible jobs. So we understand what it's like to suffer. So when you tell me I can sit in front of a keyboard and get a latte and,
yeah.
a boring meeting is going to be the worst part of my day. Oh, damn, I am in. it's done.
Such a fool. All right. So, all right, we have a couple questions. And guys, if you have questions, throw them in the chat. We'll answer all the questions that we can. Let me go back up here. I've missed many messages without realizing it. Okay, here we got that. Since you and I both do meetups as well, going to my first virtual meetup tomorrow. How do you make more connections on LinkedIn? And I guess the other part of that question would be, like, how do you network at a virtual meetup?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've been trying to crack that myself. I always tell people to join into the Discord and chat afterwards if you find it's uncomfortable during it, because during it it's difficult, especially virtual ones. But at least if there is the links, your Discord is huge as well. That's where you're going to actually make connections, because it's probably even easier than an in-person one, because the amount of times on in-person ones I've just kind of chickened out and not talked to somebody who I wanted to talk to because they look a bit too busy. I'm afraid to talk to them because as much as I like to say I'm not introverted, I still just get nervous like anyone else when I'm like, oh, that guy's probably too busy for me. So
Right.
I just don't do it. Having Discord is awesome for that.
So I absolutely agree. Having a Discord definitely helps. Being part of Discord communities, there's so damn many, man. Like, for example, even my Discord community, it's Commit Your Code. We have over like 2,600 people in there, like phenomenal developers. And we do like Discord only meetups as well. So I highly recommend that. But there's so many. Free Code Camp has a Discord. Nail has a Discord Code community, which I highly recommend. I pop in and out of there all the time. Coding Phase has a Discord community. I mean, there's so many. Kenzie Dodds has one. Here's the thing I will say with this also with online meetups. Any meetup you go to, whether it's online, in person, everyone has walked in with the exact same mindset. I'm going to an event where I'm going to learn about tech and I want to talk about tech because I love tech. If they are coming in there with the exact same mindset, it's never been easier to just strike up a conversation. What is a meetup about? Oh, it's about React. Hey, man, do you like React? Boom! That is the easiest conversation starter in the history of the world. Or do you hate React? There you go, right there. Like, or what is your favorite thing about components in React? Like, just strike up something about that subject, and you're in. Yeah. Like, you can start that conversation fluently like that. And especially when you're online, one thing that I do, at least with my meetups, and it's had a lot of success, is at the beginning of every meetup, I specifically ask people, what are you working on right now? Whatever it may be. And we spend about 20 minutes just talking about the projects people are working on. Number one, it's a great opportunity for them to showcase like what they're doing in the community. Number two, by having them speak, other people feel like they're more approachable. But number three, that it lets everyone feel comfortable with the fluidity of just having a conversation in an online environment. And here's the thing: if people don't tell me something, I call them out. I can just call them out. Hey, Neil, what are you working on? Hey, Hatim, what are you working on? Hey, Zach, what are you working on? And then they'll unmute and they'll talk, and then slowly, like, they get comfortable in that if people are asking questions about what they're doing. And the best thing about that kind of format is if, let's say, you have 100 people at this meetup, that person is speaking in front of 100 people. That's 100 potential connections, new people that they can meet just off that 2-minute soundbite. So
Yeah.
that's been really good. But even then, like every meetup, like even if it's on Zoom, there's a chat box there. Start having conversations in there. Like, oh, I really like the way they explain this, or I really like that. Everyone in that chat, everyone in that meetup is going to see your name, and then you can start associating that with later on conversations as well.
Yeah, I do that in sales meetings or any meetings I have now is go straight to LinkedIn while I'm still on the chat and add people
Yep.
so they have the request and they can associate, because usually it'll pop up a notification on their phone and they'll go, oh, this person added me. Great. And
Yeah.
it's at least the ice is broken. The other side on meetups, just that I think a lot of people don't do, especially if you're looking for experience or struggling to get a job, is start going to business meetups. Don't just go to tech meetups. If you go to small startup meetups, you'll find a lot more founders that are desperate to meet techies to help them out. And
Yep.
that's a cheat code to kind of get your first job. Get desperate founders who don't know what they're doing yet, and you can also not know what you're doing yet with them.
There you go. All right. So we've got a couple things. I'm learning JavaScript, then moving to React. At which part of my learning process should I start my LinkedIn transformation? Yes. Like whatever. Like as soon as you decide, do it. Like you can't be too early because, especially with LinkedIn, obviously if you follow the LinkedIn course, it helps quite a bit. But it's a gradual grind, right? Like it's not that you fix the LinkedIn profile today and then tomorrow you got the interview. It starts building that visibility for you for hiring managers and recruiters to locate you. So I would start that as early as possible. And I'll share the story since it just popped in my head, and I shared it yesterday on the panel. When I was learning, I started applying at jobs pretty early, and it might have been too early for me. I had just started learning JavaScript. I was new to it, and I had convinced somebody to give me an interview. And I was at this interview, and like I was super excited. I even dressed in a suit because I'm like, all right, mentally, like if I get in a suit, right, like my mindset is gonna be there, dressing for the role you want, that kind of thing. And they're like, okay, so do you know JavaScript? I'm like, yes, I know JavaScript. I'm learning JavaScript. I'm building a project in JavaScript. Mind you, at this time, I barely even knew what an array was, right? But I'm like, yes, I know JavaScript, and I'm working on this. I'm learning, and I'm going through the free code camp curriculum and all this and that and all that good stuff, and I'm loving this. And they're like, okay, cool. Like, do you know React? And I'm like, yeah, I know how to react. Happy, sad, mad. What are you talking about? And I didn't know what a framework was, right? Like I had never even gotten that far in CodeCamp's curriculum. I never scrolled down the page that far to see like what's after JavaScript. And you know how you can like audibly hear somebody on the phone go like from like happy to like, oh, what the like they literally went from like, oh, this is gonna be an hour conversation, but like let's wrap this up right now. Like you're not qualified. It was great though because it showed me what I lacked to be marketable in the field. And that was probably like one of the best experiences for me, even though it sucked at the time. But that moment let me realize I need to learn XYZ to be marketable. I need to learn this. And to be honest, I also said I want to become so good that in a year's time, when I talk to this hiring manager again, they want me. And so that was like that motivation to keep going further.
Yeah, I'm big for proving people wrong or making sure that they look like they were the idiots for not hiring me at some point. They're probably smart, but I'm going to try and, make it that way too.
Yeah, I love all this, all the smiley faces and the laughing faces. Everybody's laughing at my. I'm happy you can laugh at my pain, but hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps.
I failed. I think it was about 50 interviews before I got my first job. I went through the ringer. I remember even like my probably fifth last interview where I nearly gave up was somebody told me I wouldn't even consider you for a junior position. and I was like, oof, that knocked the gas out of my confidence for sure. But I kept going anyway.
This is kind of weird. So this is the very first time this ever happened. I just got a super chat. Thank you, and it's not even in American money; it's in euro. That's my
Nice.
very first super chat.
If
So
if you can't use
uh,
it, I'll spend it for you. It's okay. It's real money, not that American
yeah,
dollar stuff.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that sincerely. Like you have no idea. That's the very first time that ever happened. So thank you. I wish you asked something in there. I would have highlighted that. But if you ask something in the chat, I'll make sure for sure that I give some extra time to whatever question that may be. All right, let me go
There's loads
here.
of questions. Where are we
Yeah,
going?
man. I keep like what's funny is like I accidentally always hit like this new comments thing to make sure I didn't miss anything, and then I end up all the way at the beginning. And I'm scrolling all the way back up to try and catch everything. Okay.
Okay, summarizing
Uh,
the last question, I think we didn't get there. Just start doing your LinkedIn straight away. Like
yeah.
it's going to evolve. Update it every couple months.
Okay, and I've got a couple LinkedIn profiles that you and I can just go over to kind of help people out.
Nice.
Um, why do tech companies ask data structure and algorithm questions for web dev job? You want to take that before I rip into that?
Yeah, for sure. One sense is like not everyone does. That's another thing. Big companies will because they have sophisticated systems. If you're being brought in as a junior developer, say in somewhere like MongoDB, there is a good chance that you could be working on down the road, developing their databases and building complex relational data, really. And that might make sense. Other companies just do it because Facebook do it and they think for some reason they are Facebook. So when really it doesn't make any sense. So I find if a startup or somebody like that starts asking me ridiculous questions like that and they can't tell me why this is relevant, like before they ask me it, then I'm going to immediately say this is bad fit for me because they're just trying to make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I will say it's definitely a big problem in America for sure. Everybody thinks they're the next Google. Everybody thinks they're the next Facebook, even though they're Jimmy's insurance company down the street.
That's
And
here as
like
well.
yeah, like it's insane that you need to know like these high level structured data algorithms and structures just to do like fixing a button or adding an href to a link. Like it's ridiculous. But with that being said, it's the nature of the game, and you're gonna have to prepare for that. I wish I had the ability to walk into a company saying, "No, stop that now! Don't do that." But they're not gonna listen to me. I
I've
wish
done
I
it
could.
once. I think I'm on Amazon's naughty list now as a
Hmm.
result
And it's
because
stupid because it's
I
like you
did
have to
use some
game the
unkind
system.
words. Yeah, it's awful. It makes no sense. If you're going for a front end developer job, it's more than likely that you won't need to be too over the top with algorithms. I do say they do show somebody that you've gone above and beyond. That's the only positive there. It shows you're prepared for whatever they have for you. But again, it just that's the only thing it shows. It doesn't really show you're going to be a good developer. It just shows you're prepared.
Yeah, like I can get that. Yeah, like yeah, but at the same time, like if you know a data structure and algorithm, and here's the thing, like I've done interviews where I've failed the DSA part, right? Like I definitely wasn't the strongest there, but what I said helps, and that is I don't know the answer right now. But if you give me enough time to do the research, I will come back with the correct answer. And more times and more often than not, they are receptive to that kind of thing because that's what the job is. You're going to research, you're going to do these things. But I think most people, for the most part, at least the candidates, they take that failure and they just stay quiet instead
Yeah.
of vocalizing it. Because another thing is another big like contributing factor of being a developer is communication. So if you can't communicate effectively, especially on a team, they don't want you. And if you start taking that initiative to do that inside the interview, that's really going to help you out in a massive way.
Yeah,
I am going
for
to go
sure.
ahead and put this up here. Uh, this. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, please.
There's a
And matter of fact,
UFODA in there. Hold on, I'll throw in a link into the chat because I think it's
well,
gonna. It
well,
might
this link
not
right here, I
get
just
there.
tested. This
Oh,
link
did
I
it?
just tested.
Nice,
Yeah, Code of
excellent.
Community. Yeah, I just
Sweet.
tried it just before, make sure.
I never
But
know because I have an accent on the U, and that throws
yeah,
everything. So that's a FODA in Irish, so it makes everything go ooh or oh.
I even changed the branding of my channel to be purple just to fit this link for you, man.
Thank you.
Just to
I
fit the
appreciate
link.
it.
I'm going to leave it up there for a little bit. Make sure everybody finds you and comes and checks you out. One thing I will also say with data structures and algorithms, like if you know the basics, like I'm not saying you need to go do like 400 leak code questions and spend, countless hours on this, but you do need to spend a little bit of time. Right now, to keep my skills sharp, I kind of do like one leak code question like every 2 or 3 days. Like I'm not continuously on it, but I'm gearing up for another promotion, and that's the one feedback that they want to kind of test my data structures and algorithms at a higher level. So I want to make sure I keep it up there because I'm trying. Right now, I'm an L3 engineer. I'm trying to reach L4, and I think that could be like a great step in my career if I really focus on that. So that's where I'm headed there. But you can just do, and even Code Wars. I like Code Wars a lot.
Code
So
Wars
and
is where I always prepare. I think that's a better gauge of like if you don't know what type of interview you're going to be in, Code Wars is probably the best way to prepare. Be like Lead Code and those kind of places are great because you can target like Facebook, Amazon, and those FANG companies because you can have those. They have those questions from those interviews on Lead Code. Or Code Wars is more just submitted challenges. I have more fun with that.
yeah, Yeah, I will say one thing with Code Wars, and the only reason why I use HackerRank or LeetCode is more often than not when I go to these interviews, that is where they're pulling the questions from as well, as opposed to like the user submitted. Like HackerRank even has like a business package where they like create the whole HackerRank assessment for businesses. So that's the only reason why I even use them. Otherwise, Code Wars, I like their layout a lot. I like their forums a lot. I like pretty much everything about the website, if I'm honest. But it doesn't matter where you start. Just start and start getting used to it. And I know exactly where I was heading to get better at data structures and algorithms. It is okay. It is completely fine if you don't know the answer to a question. That's fine. Look up the answer. But here's what I want you to do. I don't want you just copy and pasting the answer. I want you typing it out, but I want you understanding the why they took that approach. Don't look at the how they solved it. Understand the why. Because if you understand the why, you can reproduce this. If you understand the why, you don't need the exact scenario to be able to replicate this. You can replicate it with similar factors, right? Understanding the why is crucial in increasing your skill set when it comes to data structure and algorithms. Understand the why, and you will make it every single time. So don't just go like, okay, in this particular situation, this was the solution. No. Look for similar outlying factors, and that will help you reproduce it later on down the road.
Yeah, totally agree.
Okay. My current full-time job has nothing to do with coding. Should I make a LinkedIn profile? Yes. When I see remote jobs for entry-level or intermediate job roles, their requirements are such that the skills they have mentioned will take years to learn. Why is that? Do you want to answer first?
Yeah, it will take years to learn. Correct. This is a wish list. Whenever somebody puts up, like if I put up tomorrow what I'm looking for, right now I'm looking for somebody. If I could get the perfect guy who's done this, I'd be looking for some Node.js, AWS, Kubernetes, React.js. And just being sincere, like these are the specs I'll put out personally as well. As not that I feel like I'm going to get somebody that will fit that, but I'll get two candidates that will complement each other, and that'll be a good team then. Okay? So a lot of times it's just a wish list. You say, what are you looking for? And you're like, everything, of course. You're not going to, just the same as like when they say, hey, you can have a salary between 30 or 50,000. You're going to go, I'll have the 50,000, please.
Yeah. No. I'd be happy with the 30. Give me the 30. I don't want the 50.
Yeah, I don't want, no, you keep that. I don't think I'm good enough. Well, because that happens too. But,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, it is a wish list for sure. And my first software job was a mid-level position. And that was just because I ran out of junior positions to apply for. So, like I said, it had a way bigger spec than I thought, and they let me in anyway. So, yeah.
So there's two parts to this that I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer the first part first, being the requirements of job roles. If you know the main languages is that they're looking for, apply. If you know 50% of the requirements, apply. Worst case scenario, they say no. You're in the exact same position if you apply it or not, right? Best case scenario, they say yes. Or at the very least, they give you an opportunity to have a conversation and you can show how valuable you really are. Because if you bring value, they will bring a checkbook. It's as simple as that. No company in the history of the world has ever turned down a surefire bet to make money. With that also being said, that caveat out of the way, I have a lot of followers in many countries overseas that are trying to get jobs in the West. I completely understand it. More money, more opportunity, et cetera, et cetera. Understand something, especially right now. 30 million people lost their jobs this year because of the pandemic, of which many developers at senior levels, they're taking lower positions to try and just get something on the table. It's competitive. You need to be so damn good that they have to accept you for a role. Because if you're an entry-level developer, you're remote, you're not bringing anything to the table as far as experience is concerned, you need to be a little bit better. Because what's the difference between you and someone down the street, right? Like, we have someone local here that can fill that spot as well. My DMs are flooded with people trying to find jobs. My Twitter mentions every single day, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job. That's every single day. Every single day. So what are you bringing that is different? If you're bringing nothing different, you're not going to get anything. But if you're bringing something different, if you're bringing that will to learn, if you're bringing that ability to learn, you need to be so damn good when you walk in an interview. Before you come to, like, I wish I could give this to somebody else, but I can't. I got to give it to this person. You need to be so damn good. If you have a difficult name to pronounce, before the interview, they're like, how do you say this? And then after that interview, they're studying it to make sure they never make that mistake again. You need to be that damn good. If you are that damn good, you will get the opportunity. But if you come in, I know the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Give me a remote position. Give me $100,000 a year, please. It's not going to happen. You need to be a little bit better than the average. I know that's not the popular answer, but it is the brutally honest and truthful answer. I can give you the answer that everybody retweets and shares on Twitter for the feel good, or I can give you the right move to make sure you produce that result and get that dream job, and then you come back to me saying, "Thank you, Danny." That's all I want. I don't want money. I don't monetize any of this. I just want to say thank you. That is all I want. All right. So I hope that answered that question. But it's absolutely possible. And don't just think like in the West, think anywhere. Like every country in the world has developers. There is not a single country that doesn't have Nigeria has developers. Kenya has developers. Ghana has developers. There are developers all over the world. There's opportunity everywhere. For Danny's guest, I have a criminal record for almost a decade ago. Do you have any recommendations for interviews? And I know who this is. But
yeah, this is a difficult one. This is going to put a major barrier in your way for most big companies when you're looking for a starting job. So I would say, if you, for one, look for startups. They'll just be a little bit more forgiving with the background checks, to be honest, and that will probably pave your way. And then when you have the experience, it's going to be a lot easier because you can work as a contractor or via your own business or anything else and sidestep all those checks completely, which is helpful. I understand, like, especially in the States, it's a lot different than here. I think it expires, that kind of stuff leaves your history after a while, so you're fine. But yeah, it's going to make your life harder. There's no nice way of putting it. But again, I think similar to your last kind of statement is you're going to have to prove you're worth this. And it is 10 years ago as well. So as I said, if somebody asks you and you're honest about that, say it is 10 years ago. And I hope I've grown a lot then. So
honestly, yeah. And Zach, we've had this conversation a couple times, and it's obviously not going to become the easiest scenario for you. Like, I mean, you can't change what hiring managers are going to do. Some are going to be open to it, some are not. For your situation is more of a numbers game than anybody else, and you need to really make everything else more powerful for you. You need to make sure your LinkedIn is top notch. You need to make sure you're building up a network that is impressive. You need to make sure you build up a hiring network that is producing opportunities for you. You need to be on top of all that, and if you do that, I guarantee you're going to get the roles you want. But if you don't put in the effort in those areas and you don't de-risk yourself as much as possible, it's going to be tough. Make those projects that make people stop in their tracks to say, I need to have a conversation with this person. You're going to have to really prove you know what you know. And the best way that you're going to do that is with projects. And once you show them in a great way that they can utilize it and test it, I guarantee you're going to find a lot more success. Where's the LinkedIn course? It's in my YouTube channel. There's a playlist. It's 4 episodes. It's not long. I interview 4 hiring managers and specifically say, what is the thing that you're looking for? What is the thing that is going to help this candidate get this position? And we go over like 40 LinkedIn profiles. Highly recommend it. Also, I can't believe I forgot this. Just because I've gotten so many requests for this, today and today only, I'm doing a Black Friday sale, a Cyber Monday sale on my Create Your Following course on Twitter. Highly recommend it. It's the lowest price I've ever put it. I'll never put it at that price again. I only did it because so many people asked. And truthfully, like, they obviously wanted it because it's been flying nonstop. I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the chat. If that's something you want, I believe the price is like $18. So that I've never, ever priced it that low, and I will never, ever do it again. It is for basically the holiday only. So I want to go ahead and place that in the chat.
I have to say, Twitter is a powerful machine. That's how myself and Danny know each other.
Yep.
It's worth, like I said, this is how we make connections. I'm here in Ireland, so it's not like we met in the street or the pub if you were here, Danny.
Yeah. Oh, we would drink every day. I already know.
Yeah, so it's definitely a great place to make new connections. And again, it's casual networking is probably the easiest way to get your first job as well. If you're friends with somebody, they want to work with you, so they'll do their best. If they have an open position for a junior position and they know you're already there, they're going to go to you.
Yep, 100%. Right now, networking has never been easier. LinkedIn, Twitter, you're a comment or a post away from making a valuable relationship. We've got this question here. What do you think about cloud computing networking jobs? They're great. Can you recommend some courses for beginner? There's so many damn courses everywhere. I would follow if you really want to do cloud computing. I would honestly like work on my AWS cert first, because that's the one thing that like hiring managers are searching for, and that is going to land you in most of the opportunities. So work on your AWS.
Linux Academy is probably the best resource I've come across for any of the cloud computing, because they look after AWS, they have Azure, everything else, but they do also have the full paths for getting those certificates as well, and interactive consoles so that you can do kind of like Code Academy style things and not have to have a whole AWS account to burn. You can do it all from inside their system. It's a really good setup.
Yeah, we got this question here. I currently have 2 friends on my LinkedIn to become more approachable. You need the LinkedIn course. Like, if that's all you got, like, you need to go watch that. And the reason why I even put it on YouTube, honestly, for free. Like, I put it on there just for that reason. Matter of fact, I wasn't even planning on doing this, but I'm going to do this. Hold on one second. Like, just to, like, kind of make sure you understand what I'm talking about here, right? Hold on. Where is it? Oh, I just posted it. Here. Let me share this. How do I share my screen? There we go. Like, just to like emphasize this. This is from the last month alone. Like, the last literally 40 days, 30 days. Last live stream. Just started my first dev job last week because he took the LinkedIn course. Karen, stay-at-home mom for 12 years. I got the job. Highly recommend LinkedIn series, but several recruiters reached out. Picked up contract work because of the YouTube series. Discoverability, Devin was just in here. Wesley, I tweaked my LinkedIn profile. After that, a few weeks later, I went from first recruiter contact to hired in 3 days. I have an interview tomorrow. Updated, I got a job and today's my first day. Like, this is just in the last month, y'all. Like, in the last month, when I searched on Twitter messages, over 40 people landed their jobs in tech in the last month. If you are not taking advantage of I swear to God, I feel like if I put a price tag on this thing would have like skyrocketed. Like, everybody was like, oh, I got to try this now. It's $100. But because I put it out for free because I wanted it to reach everybody, it's like, oh, I'm probably not worth it. No, I'm telling you, I put it out for free intentionally, because I don't want to charge you for you to get into the field and get your job. I want you to get there and change your life. Like, simple as that. And the other thing, honestly, to kind of go with it, that creating your audience and your following on Twitter, like, it's going to go hand in hand. Like if you have strong networks on both, it's just going to constantly produce opportunities and it's going to produce jobs. Like I can't tell you how many jobs and offers I've gotten just off of Twitter, like freelance opportunities, like companies reaching out, like, "Hey man, I see you know what you like you're doing. I see that you're knowledgeable. Would you like to build a website for our company?" I've literally given jobs to others just off of that. Like you can't turn stuff like that down. Like it's impossible.
Yeah, I've started streaming even straight to LinkedIn just to get more developers active on it and see that it's okay to show people what you do on that platform, because I think a lot of people are afraid of how shirt and tie it looks to
Yeah.
express themselves. And I think the more authentic you are, the more you'll stand out from the pile. It doesn't have to be cut and dry and professional all the way. If you like memes, post some memes.
Thank you so much. People already dropping in the chat that they bought the course. Thank you so much. That means the world to me, and hopefully, it helps out. Devin Ford, hey, I know that guy. He's still here. Devin, you should be exhausted right now. This dude works like all night. He just started a dev job, so he's working all night. He works as a 911 dispatcher. So he works third shift, and then he works his developer job. Like this dude is killing it. Like
he has a real job and a developer job.
Yeah.
he's filling up on the coffees in the dev job. He's okay.
Advice and series are changing lives. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you. Thank you both. All right, we missed a lot. Okay, hold on. I'm starting from the bottom, so if I've skipped you, I'm sorry. I'm working my way up. Unlock Academy has been great by someone with a criminal history. Learning coding while serving time. I'm guessing this is somebody on like YouTube or Twitter. Unlock Academy. So Unlock Academy should probably help change that out. We got two Bubble. I preach this all the time. Work on your skills. 13 hours a day if that's what it takes. I mean, yeah, definitely have your balance, but again, your skill set is your ATM. If you increase your skill set, it will produce for you. So make sure you're increasing your skill set. It's voluntary for start, but I think it'll be a good start. Cool. Danny, why is that? I know who Nehemiah is. Let's see. Hey, Coding Paths, my brother. Y'all check him out. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. I love this guy. We talk all the time. Definitely check him out. Hey, Danny, what's up? I got another rejection email today from an opportunity that seemed promising. I'm just going to put my head down and build until I'm too good to ignore. I love that mindset. I agree with that mindset. I've talked about this a couple times, but I don't talk about this a lot, and I probably should talk about it more. There was a job that I wanted, right? Now, mind you, I turned down 6 job offers when getting a job in tech, but there was one job in particular that I remember that I wanted real bad, right? I did everything right. I remember like after finishing that final round of interviews, it was 4 rounds of interviews. After I finished that final round of interview, I remember I went home, told my wife, like, that's it. I'm done with the gas station. I'm done frying chicken. This one is in the bag. And they didn't want me. And I remember when I got the rejection email, like I was sick. Like I was so sick. I laid in bed for 2 days. Like I was sick. I couldn't believe that they went in another direction. It was the best thing that never happened. Because if I would have taken that job, I never would have actually like learned about the company that I'm at now. And the job that I got was genuinely my dream job. I didn't know that at the time. The company I perceived had everything that I wanted. And what I have now, hindsight, of course, is always 2020. But what I have now trumps tremendously what that they were offering. Like the community involvement, the pay structure, the mentorship, the learning. Like I get hands-on learning. I got access to all the materials in the world, one-on-one. Like what I have here is nothing in comparison to what they were offering me. And I would have lost out and missed out on a dream opportunity if I took that. I'm a very big believer that the universe will sometimes see things, hear things, and witness things that you don't witness. And it will make moves for you that you may not make in order to ensure that you get where you need to go. So I'm tremendously sorry, and I feel your pain when you've been rejected, but just know that next one is right around the corner. I believe it in you, Tyler. I know you're going to do amazing things. You've got so much goddamn potential. I just got demonetized. Boop, just that fast. You've got so much potential that it's insane. Don't let this discourage you, man. I know you, and I know you're going to hit this. Just keep your eye on the prize, keep your head down, and I guarantee you're going to get exactly where you need to go, man.
Yeah, I had a very similar situation with HubSpot. They brought me in, showed me around the office, showed me where I'd collect my laptop and everything. And I actually got a call to say, yeah, we promote somebody internally.
Fuck!
They
Wow!
asked me to eat lunch with them and everything, to sit with the team and have lunch and do the works. And that was soul destroying.
Yeah, man. That wow.
But
That
the job I did get, I was flown like 2 weeks into my very first job. I was flown business class over to Sydney to work on things. Like it was totally more life changing than I ever could have imagined as well. So yeah, again, happy it happened, but not at the time. Oh no, that was soul destroying. Here's where you can pick up your MacBook, and then they never call.
golly, man. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. All right. I got some people in the chat. They're like, "Hey, man, I sent you my LinkedIn profile. You said you were gonna look at it. I'm sorry, boss. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get them all going over here.
Get them going.
Jeez. Yeah.
Well, with that attitude, you're getting a bad review. That's all. Don't care how professional you are.
No.
Patience.
I know they want to see this, and I'm hoping that if we do these, it'll help.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
I've got quite a few open here that I just saw. I know I've gotten more messages, but I mean, we're not going to do this for 4 hours, right? Like, I gotta, actually do what I'm employed for. But
Yeah, this is
let's go here.
evidence that you're not doing your job as well, which is
Honestly, like if I'm being honest, Nehemiah, I got his profile open. He's like, I'm nervous. Uh, honestly, my company is amazing, and if they weren't like, I just turned down a job with Microsoft. Like, if I wasn't content and happy with where I am, I would be looking for something else, and that is definitely not the case. Like, I'm very, very happy. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon, unless something just incredible just pops up that I can't say no to. But it's gonna have to be really up there because I'm genuinely very satisfied with where I am right now. All right, so we have Alexi here. Um, So, what is your first impression? What do you think about like the way this looks?
well, it immediately tells me what he's doing, so I'm happy about that. You know, he has a
Yeah,
tagline and it's filled out, so that's yeah. And do you know what? I haven't done your LinkedIn course, so I don't know whether you think the same way I do. So this is going to be interesting. Um,
yeah. Let me
so
close
yeah,
this.
absolutely. He said you know straight away from the summary, web developer. He knows Express, React, Node.js. This might be a guy to look at. If I'm a
Yeah,
recruiter, I'm definitely going to start looking.
I definitely like this. This is the second most important area of in my opinion, your LinkedIn profile. Just highlighting this. This area is your landing area. This is where when they pop on your profile, this is the first thing they see. Always want to make sure this looks great. The only critique I would probably have is just remove the targeting and just leave that. Like you don't need to say what you're targeting. You just need to say what you're proficient in. And
Yeah,
these words pop up in search results. Remove the opportunities, remove the targeting. Maybe just add a pipe here, web developer pipe, Postgres, etc., and
I
that'll
was
be
going to
just
say
fine.
throw a pipe in.
Yeah,
That'll do it.
but that's a good landing area. So great job, great start here, Alexi. And mind you, now we're going to rate these profiles on a scale of like 1 to 10. Okay. We have our about section. My name is Alexi, and I'm a full stack web developer with a background in computer networking. During my previous jobs, I had the opportunity to automate tasks using scripts to increase productivity. This brought me to the path of software development now as a career. Now I'm leveraging. Okay, I'm going to say this needs work.
Yeah,
I
I'd agree there.
Your about me doesn't necessarily need to be like your biography. It needs to kind of bullet point what you're bringing to the table here. So I think this needs to be reworked in a big way.
I
What do you
think
think
that
about this?
might,
Oh, go ahead.
well, but just on the about, I think it might make him sound more junior than he actually is.
Yep.
Sometimes when you're like, hey, look, I've done things, it makes you sound more junior. Like if you just start, as I said, like your summary or your tagline has like, boom, I'm good at this, 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 and this, and then you come down and you're like nervously saying I moved into web development. So I'd just get some like bold points, say what you're good at, and make sure people know when they're reading your about.
Hold on one second. We got Luis Collymore in here, and I don't know if he knows this, but he was one of the winners of my like Santa Danny giveaway. And I don't remember if I gave him the prize or not. And if I didn't, please give me your Twitter handle here so I can tweet at you and send you that prize. I know one of the
Nice.
Luises I'm missing, and I don't know if it was you or the other one. So I just want to make sure we get that taken care of. And I do agree with you now. All right, here's the other thing with this featured section. This is your most prime piece of real estate on your profile, in my opinion. You are dropping the ball in the biggest way possible right now with this featured section because you're using links that you haven't even set up the pictures for. Like, look how good this looks compared to this. Like, you're dropping the ball here. If anything, this should be number one, but you need to get images fixed on this. You need, even if it's like a image of like what your actual profile looks like, that's what it needs to be. You need to go ahead and fix that ASAP because that is not having anybody stop. They're just going to probably scroll past this section right here. And the other thing too is like if you're trying to become a developer and you can't even get the image to fix on this, like are you telling me that you lack the capability of even having being able to do a Google search to fix that? Like it's not a finished product. It's you're giving a bad impression here. Let's see. What do you think about that? No.
I totally agree there. This is a perfect section to show off things. This is something I underutilize myself for sure. But I
Yeah.
know when I like I said, it's been a long time since I've been applying for jobs as such. But it's something
Yeah.
I
I mean, you don't
always
need to.
yeah. It's I often put up like PDF slideshows and things like that, or my slides from talks. If I do talks locally,
Yeah.
like I've got a couple of presentations on my LinkedIn about interviewing for front end jobs, say, and I always direct people there to look at them in case they're looking for things. So it's again, I always use it as a place that I like to show off. Like you said, if I want people to find it, I put it right there, so it's easy to find. So put your best work out in front.
Man, yeah, I agree. All right. We're at the experience section. IT analyst, provided international IT support, volunteered, found solution to Salesforce, Pardo. Alexi, have you watched my LinkedIn course? That's what I want to know before I keep going forward with this. Like, have you actually watched? Uh, yeah, so LinkedIn doesn't give the feature to do that. It's auto. Yeah, it's auto generated, but you're the one providing that metadata. So that way it's pulling that. Like, it's not that LinkedIn is giving you the option to add the tag. You're supposed to be adding that into your website.
You failed the test. You're out. This is Shark Tank now. You don't know. You have to go get the meta tags. No, I don't like the gatekeeping like that as well. But yeah, you do have to, like, if you're wondering, if you see something like that and you go, why is this image doing this and my one isn't? Then Google, how do I get that image to work? Because that's what we all do as a job.
And Alexia, I went ahead and sent you a connection request just because. But yeah, I think a lot of this that I'm looking at that is wrong is what is covered in the LinkedIn course. So I don't know if you've actually watched this or not. And if you haven't, I would highly suggest watching that course because you're making a lot of the mistakes that we point out. Um, yeah. So one thing that I always say when it comes to listing your job experience, you don't necessarily need to list out all the things that you did in that job. Meaning, don't list out your basic job duties. Like if you're a cashier, I assume that you ran a register, right? It would be more awkward for me to realize you didn't run a register as a cashier, and that would not be that position, right? So don't tell me what you did as a basic job duty, but tell me your achievements in that position. Tell me what you did in that position. You were at this position for almost 2 years, right? If you were a cashier for almost 2 years, what did you do to keep that job for 2 years? Did you implement a system? Did you help reduce spoilage? Did you help increase customer satisfaction? Did you increase billables? Did you reduce employee turnover? Like, what did you do outside of just running a register or being an IT analyst? Like, tell me the things that you actually did. That is very, very, very important here because that is what they're looking for. That is what I call is the hook. your objective with your LinkedIn profile and your resume is to pique interest to the point where they need to have a conversation with you. This isn't doing it. You're telling me what you did as a job. I don't know what you did there for 2 years.
Yeah,
Like, what did you do there outside
I
of
would
that?
say, I would say like this should nearly mirror your CV. This section, it should be like, because again, a lot of HR software will just crawl your LinkedIn's for this information. So you should have the bullet pointed skills. You should have the, as you said, the metrics. If you can give me some business metrics of what you've improved, like if you took, as a web development job, say you took 2 weeks off onboarding by introducing a new customer flow, you know, write that. That's a way bigger deal than just saying, well, I used React.js and it worked.
Yep. So I'm going to stop this here. The way this profile is right now, in my opinion, I do like that you have recommendations. Do like your, bilingual. That helps. Your certs, like, that's cool. I do like that you added this here. That's fine. But Zero to Mastery Academy is a Udemy course. I don't know if I would put that in my education portion because you literally have a degree. Like, you literally have a degree and you've pushed that down for a Udemy course. Like, the priorities aren't where we need them right now. I would remove this out of your education and I'd put this in your certs because that's exactly where it belongs. But it doesn't belong here. And think about it. You have a cert from Udemy that's 35 total hours, and then you have a degree from a couple of years. Like, I think I know which one should have a little bit of priority here. So the way this stands, it's probably a 4 out of 10. But if you make these changes that I'm suggesting or follow the LinkedIn course, I have a feeling you could jump to a 7 or 8 easily.
I'm giving it a 6. I'm being a bit more gentle. I don't have a checklist for what I expect. I think that's the difference. Is you have literally your ratings system that you're doing it with.
Yeah.
Like he is still mentioning all the keywords in the jobs and things, but a bit of organization here, and this could be perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's too far off either.
Right. So for me, I think it's your title is fine. Just remove those 2 words, and it's going to be perfect then because it'll flow. But your about section needs to be reworked. Your featured section, you have to fix those meta tags. You have to rework the job experience section as well. And you need to remove the cert from your education, put your degree first since you have a degree, and then put your cert in the license and certification spot. So for me, it's like 5 things that need to be fixed. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. It's probably more than 5 things, but just being generous there. All right, we got Peter's Victor here. I hope you're still in the chat, Peter. Are you still here? Let me know if you're still here. So we're at the landing page. This is the default header from LinkedIn. What do we think about this, and how does this look to you?
For me, what's weird to me, and I just don't, it could be ignorance here. Is there such jobs as designer developer?
I've not come across them. Like,
no,
it's good to know both.
Yeah, it's my immediate thought is like, for me, am I getting a designer or a developer? And because you have both, I will assume the worst and think you have neither done well. So like it's not, unfortunately, you can't A/B test your profile and have a different profile show up for recruiters. If somebody searches design, mine will show design. But you do need to pick one and lean into it. So I'd be changing this to a UI developer summary, if that's what you're like. I'm guessing that's what he's going to reveal to us as he goes down.
Yeah, I would think so. One thing that I learned from someone that I consider a mentor many years ago, it is better to be a specialist in one than a jack of all trades in many, because when you're a specialist, you're focused, you're producing high level stuff, right? That's what companies want. But when you're all over the place where it's like, yeah, I know development, but now I'm a designer and now I'm making prototypes and this, you're spread so thin that there's no way you can excel in an effective way at all those things. You got to be one, and you got to be one where the opportunities are, and you got to be one where you can get the most amount of money. Find out what's in demand in your area. You're in Nigeria. Is Flutter king over there? And really, to say you're a designer with only Figma, there's a lot more to it in being a designer. And I know, like Adrian, for example, would probably kick our asses if we just said, yeah, we only know Figma. There's a science to this. There's a lot of thought that goes into this. So, and I'm just curious.
And Flutter's
I
impressive.
know.
Flutter's an impressive toy or tool. So I would definitely say like push up. Like you're probably going to get paid more as a Flutter developer, I'm guessing, than as a Figma designer. And I don't mean
Yeah.
to diss anyone there about that, but it's the truth. It's a technical subject. It's just usually they pay a bit more.
Yeah. So I would figure out what we want to do here, which one you want to specialize in is the one that I would focus on. And I would do that based on what is in demand either in your area or near to your area.
Yeah,
All
look for
right.
titles of jobs that you're after, and then match it to those jobs.
Right. I say so the about me section. Well, uh, so we got mobile developer Flutter and hold on one second. It's kind of a very rude comment there that I don't appreciate. Hold on.
I'll just juggle.
Yeah, I just removed it. But yeah. So mobile developer, Flutter, and UX UI designer, open to learning new things, meeting new people, and collaborating with people to build useful products and startups. There are over 1,000 ideas running through my head. This right here, you definitely have to rework, and I'll tell you why. Number one, with 1,000 ideas running through your head, it doesn't give the impression to a hiring manager or an employer or anyone that you're focused on what you're trying to do. You're basically saying, okay, you're a designer, developer. Let's say we got past that. I'm like, okay, I'm really considering this person. And now you tell me you got 1,000 ideas. You're all over the place. You're not focused on one. So if I even hire you, you may not be completely focused on me. You're going to be on something else. That's not doing the impression
So
that you
do I
want.
get one of those slots? If I hired you tomorrow, do I
Yeah.
get one of those ideas? Is that all? So I'm one out of 1,000. It's not good odds.
Yeah. So definitely got to rework that. We have no featured section, which is the most vital portion of your profile, in my opinion. So you're really missing the ball there. We have nothing talked about in the experience section. You're dropping the ball there. You've got some great education, which is phenomenal. There's nothing here. Like you got to rework this whole profile. Definitely watch the LinkedIn series because we have nothing here. Nothing that can really help you.
Send it back when we have it
Yeah.
done. I'll happily look at it as well
Yeah.
if you want to ping me.
I'll look at it
LinkedIn
again
as
for
well.
sure. Yeah, but the way it stands, I got to give this like a 3 out of 10 only because I really like your profile photo.
Yeah.
I think it's very professional and it makes you look great.
Yeah.
All right. Ayodole, student. Okay. So one thing here I will say that you will pop up in no job searches because nobody's searching for a student. But it's good to know that you're getting your education. That's phenomenal. Landing area, what do you think about it?
Yeah, again, if it says student, here's like I can immediately see the next section where it says you're a student, and then it says experienced software engineer. So, which are you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's oh wow. Yeah, very true. How are you experienced software engineer and a student? Like this helps to have these languages listed out in this way. It's a lot of languages to have a lot strong amount of experience in. But Indian Institute of Hardware Technology for almost 3 years. Okay, so you got 3 years of experience, and then you're going to get your degree, so you got your degree in 2019. So you're out of school. So why are you still a student?
Oh, he hasn't looked after his LinkedIn. Hit him. Hit him.
Yeah, stupid Devin. Stupid Devin. Devin just popped up. He sent a message. I'm gonna go here. Hi YouTube, Devin. So dumb. All right. So yeah, Ayodele, same thing. You have to improve your LinkedIn. I would say you got to follow the LinkedIn course for sure because there's nothing here to go off of. And I would even say get a better photo. So like for me, this is a 1 out of 10. Like we have nothing, and like you're not even a student. You got 3 years of experience. You should have software developer engineer up here. Like it shouldn't even be that.
Yeah.
All right. Now we've got Niraj from Nepal, fullstack.net, and Angular developer at Air Ticket Sherpa. So what do you think about this area so far?
I think it's good. Again, if you're considering moving on, I'm probably if you're advertising on your tagline that you're at a company, it usually signals to me that this person's going to be difficult to move because he's super content if he's advertising it. Um, I just that's just a initial thought. What about you?
I agree with you as well. I definitely agree with you, and I would say like if it's possible to get a better photo besides like a V neck with a chain, I feel like you. This is a professional site, right? Like dress like for the job you want instead of dressing like you're going to the club. Like I think like
I have
there's
a
a little
Santa
bit of a
hat on my
disconnect.
one, so I probably am not
well,
the best.
well, there's a
I am
difference.
wearing a
Matter of fact,
shirt. I'm wearing a shirt, and
all right.
yeah,
So I would say also 97 connections. We need to work towards getting as close to 500 as possible because I think that's when you're going to start seeing a lot of the opportunities start rolling in. All right. And then we have, okay, the first thing I'll say is your about me is very long. Your about me needs to be very short, sweet, and concise. Um, the average hiring manager only spends 6 to 10 seconds looking at a LinkedIn profile before they decide I need to spend more time on this or not. So we need all the information to be very easily accessible. And right now, like you have very little information here, but we have a lot of information here. Let's go ahead and close that because they're not going to see that. And we're connected. Okay, cool. I would add some kind of image here just because I feel like the default LinkedIn one doesn't really help too much. But I would change this to a more professional setting, even if it's just you against the plain wall. Like you have a gray wall or a white wall in your house, stand against it and take a photo. That's it.
yeah.
All right.
There's like I know from my partner, she's a recruiter in MongoDB, and she uses a little plugin that just highlights the words that people are looking for, so or that she's looking for. So that's a like I said, make sure that these things are easy to find on your page.
All right. So I do like that you have your keywords here. I don't necessarily think like you need HTML, CSS, but like I would leave like the JavaScript, Angular, C Sharp, and .NET and all the good stuff because that's what kind of people are searching for. Um, I think learning to learn is one of the greatest skills you can teach yourself in your life. I'm a self-taught programmer and a software developer. About 2 years ago, I was interested in knowing. We need to rework this. We need to rework this. All right, you have no feature section. We have no job experience. Man, a lot of people just like, what are y'all doing? Like, how are they going to find you? How are they going to know what you're doing? Like, why are we not putting information in this area? You need to do that. Also, you've been working at this place 6 months. Are you trying to leave because your open to work is still there? I don't think your profile's producing as much as you want. If
I only
anything,
noticed the open to work, and you're
yeah,
saying you're a developer at a place. Yeah, this is
yeah,
just not. This is just a stale profile, really.
yeah. I would probably give this maybe a 2 out of 10 because we've got some keywords here that can help. But outside of that, everything else needs to be worked in a big way, Niraj. All right, hope that helps. Bryce Ellis. I know Bryce. Bryce is a phenomenal human being. He is in the Memphis, Tennessee area. Go Memphis. All right. So we've got this landing area here, 2021 graduate with a
Oh, he even
bachelor's
has
in
the audio thing. I need to do that. The audio thing where you can hear him tell his name. No, it probably won't come up on the stream.
Okay, so it says, "Hello, LinkedIn. My name is Bryce, and I'm real nice." Like, it's,
I really like this. Like, if I find
that's
that, I'm happy.
yeah. Honestly, that I think that's great. Hold on, let me close my Slack before everybody starts messaging nonstop. Okay. All right, so I like the landing area. I think this looks great, and it showcases like the things that you're involved in. TEDx came to Memphis, and he was part of that. So absolutely
Nice.
agree with that. I love that you're going to University of Memphis. You're also a part of the community organization over here. Highly recommend all of that, and I love that. We have our about section. I'm going to say first impression. It's got to be shorter. Hello, everyone. My name is Bryce. I carry a smile that can light up a room, which is true because I've met Bryce before. I'm a senior at the University of Memphis who's interested in endurance running. Okay, we got to rework this. I made in technology internship at Johnson and Johnson. I developed an award-winning prototype. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Application, and then received a live demo for 30 people, which showed that AR can be used in spine surgery. Like this is what you need to lead with. Don't worry about this part. Like all this needs to be
In
going because they
fairness, though, like this is pretty impressive. Like, I think he might get away with having more wording here than most people because that's a pretty impressive statement to follow up by, and he
right.
didn't
The
want to
only
come in too cocky.
The only reason why I am suggesting this, and I'll tell you why. Number one, you have the name here and you have the audio that goes with it. By this point, we know your name is Bryce. Like, I know your name is Bryce. But here's the thing. And I'm telling you this because I've seen so many damn hiring managers do this even in front of me. Once they expand the section and they see how long it is, this is exactly what happens. As soon as they expand and see paragraphs, they just scroll. Do you want them to scroll? Because if that is the goal, leave this. Otherwise, it's got to be short and sweet. We can do this in an effective way. And Bryce, because I know you, I may work with you and restructure this. But like, this is what you should be leading with. In my opinion, this is what you should be leading with. This is the hook that will make them read the rest. Like, this is what you need to
do it for him if he comes on and smiles on the stream, because I want to see if it's factual. I want to see if he's telling the truth.
I will say I love this. I would probably fix this, but I love this. Let's see what's here. I may even move this one down. Keep this here. You know why? Because like, if you have image, and then half a image there, it's the incentive to scroll. And so now you've got the hook for me to get here and see all your posts. All right. So I do like this section. I think we could fix this image so that way it fits in the square. And I would move this one to the other spot. But I love this. What about you? Do you agree, disagree?
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is great. This is probably the strongest profile we've looked
My
at
Udemy
so
success
far.
story. Yeah. All right. So again, we have no information here. Yeah. He's an IT specialist at one of the biggest companies in town. We have no information there. I would really have some information here. That's going to make you stand out. So we've got your Johnson & Johnson thing, which is phenomenal. Okay. Your orientation letter, which is fine. Like, I would have more details about what you're doing here. Because number one, it's going to help you land in search results. But also, they need to know, what are you doing here? So highly recommend moving those around. These are fine. You know, the one thing I would say with a cert, it doesn't hurt to list it. It's not going to make or break anything, but it's cool to just kind of have it there, I suppose. But like, if you have like an AWS cert or something that holds value, definitely put that there. But if it's just Udemy certs, like, I mean, everybody knows it's tax, right? What do you think? Do you agree, disagree? I realize I was just talking, scrolling.
No, I'm totally agreeing. Like, unless I had something contradicting you, I wouldn't cut across, you know? I think absolutely. I was excited. I thought, especially with how well worded everything else is, it's kind of a bit of a letdown to not see. I was rooting for you, Bryce. Why did you let me down like that?
Let's see, is Bryce in here? Thank you so much. I'll work on my LinkedIn profile. Niraj, thank you. I hope the feedback really helped. And that's one thing, like, I kind of said this before, I'd rather be brutally honest with you to get you to produce the results that you want to produce, as opposed to like sugarcoating it and then you not getting any traction. So my goal is not to hurt feelings. My goal is to enact change that's going to make sense. I love the endorsements.
Danny, you're gatekeeping.
So I love that you've received all these recommendations. That's great. Now, here's one thing I'll say to everybody, because I get this question like God knows how many times. Does it really matter that people are endorsing you? Not really, but there's the but. The but is every hiring manager is going to scroll through the section, and when you have numbers here, they're not looking at like, oh, they've got 50? That's not enough. I need at least 51. But they are just taking a mental note like, oh, some people have probably worked with him. Some people have actually seen that he knows Swift. Some people know that he speaks well in public. That plays into effect. So it's not saying that like this number, like I need it to be a certain number. But when you have something there, it makes them feel like, oh, he has actually worked with somebody on a Swift project, and they can say like he knows what he's talking about. It helps de-risk, but it's not a deciding factor. No, this looks great. What do you rate this profile at?
I'm going to go 8 out of 10. If, like I said, all he's missing is the last couple points here. Like I said, there's 1 point for the order of the features and 1 point for not having the details in his last 2 jobs.
Yeah, I to be honest, I think you are on the exact same number on this. I think this is an 8 out of 10. Even as it stands, I think this is a very good profile. Just needs I'm talking about, these are minor tweaks to get you the best results and to land you in searches. That is what I'm aiming for. I think for like probably one of the best profiles we've seen so far today. just minus, like, this was definitely a letdown. I know you saying right now you're going to add that, so definitely get that in there and highlight this thing. But I think just these minor tweaks, and it's going to push you over the edge for sure.
This profile photo is excellent as well. I'd want
Yeah.
that, like that off his post. I just love that.
Yeah. And to be honest, like in Memphis, like Memphis Tigers, this is the team. Like, this is what everyone is about. So, and especially because it comes across in a great way since you're still a student. So we know, like, you've got your pride in your university and things like that. And so things that we're like expecting grows great. This will probably change once you like land those big shot positions that I know you're going to get. And to be honest, Brett Ellis is like a rising star in our community. So he's going to do some amazing things, man. All right. Hope this helped. All right. We've got Gabe. You know what sucks? Is every single one that I open, Devin's face is going to be the first thing that pops up because when he sent that DM, it went to every single page that I had open at that time. All right. We've got Gabriel here. All right. This is our landing area. What do we think?
Thanks, Devin. Again, like, here we go again. I think it's again similar to what I said before. We have 2 skills here. 2 skills, and like I said, he talks about full stack developer, writer, and my eyes automatically attracted to the about here. I'm like,
yeah,
it doesn't look like he's a writer at all. So why?
It's true. It's true.
Why bother mentioning it?
Here's one thing that I always kind of say about writers is a very good writer, you don't need to ask them about it. Their work will speak for it. We don't need to list that you're a writer here. We don't need to list, like, some people are like, oh, I'm a content creator. If you're making content, people know you're making content. We see you, the byproduct of your work, right? You don't need to write that in your bio. Instead, I would replace this with the languages you know. That's what's going to be popping up in results. Nobody's searching on LinkedIn for a writer. They're searching for, well, if you wrote like documentation or something, they're going to be searching that documentation name. They're going to be searching the book, like whatever it is that you wrote. That's what they're going to be looking at.
Technical writer is a role for you write documentation for people, but this is just writer. They won't find you because the keyword technical isn't here.
For those, I've seen we've got like 20 comments that say, "Can I review their LinkedIn profiles?" Well, I don't. I'm only going to be doing this for about another 10 minutes. So I don't want to keep Nail all day long because I know he's in a different time zone, and I actually have to do some work too. So I will say, I will say that if I didn't review your LinkedIn profile on this live stream, I may do it in the next. The only reason why I'm even doing LinkedIn profiles is because I stopped doing them for a while because the backlog just got too intense. The one reason why I'm saying this about the LinkedIn profiles is because I know we're at the holiday season and I want to help people get ready for Q1. And I'm hoping you've already watched the LinkedIn series. Like, that's the one thing that kind of is a little frustrating with this one is everything that is wrong in these profiles is highlighted in that series. So every time that we're reviewing this profile, I'm saying you should watch the LinkedIn series to answer this for you. Go watch that series. Like, stop wasting that time. We're in Q4. You need to prepare for Q1 of 2021. Go make this happen and go watch that damn series. All right. List these languages here. It's going to help you pop up in a result. Full stack developer, problem solving on Django, React, HTML, says JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, Git, and building functional applications. Okay. So we have the about me, and then we have the most important section on your page, and it's just your resume, and it's blank. So what do you think about this now before, I say anything?
The about is a bit weird. It kind of trips itself up.
Yep.
I hope every application people build is functional. Okay, let's just put that out there. Yep. Or are you proud of that last one that you built that actually worked? And then, like, your LinkedIn is your resume. You don't need a resume linked to your LinkedIn.
Yeah. So your LinkedIn is definitely your resume. But here's the other thing. If you give them your resume off the bat, and let's say they decide they don't like you, the difference of that is at least if they message you asking for your resume, you've opened the lines of communication. You've created the opportunity to provide more context and information as opposed to them getting in here. That is why I don't necessarily recommend having your resume in your featured section. I'd rather them reach out to me first and let's start talking. Then I can present their resume.
And you can tailor.
But here, yeah, exactly. That's the whole goal, right? a lot of people don't realize this too. Like I have multiple resumes. I don't just have one. I've got like 6 or 7, and it depends on the job experience or what they're asking for. Like if I go work in like an e-commerce application, I kind of want to have like a salesy background, right? Like at least that I know what I'm talking about. Or if I'm going to be working on a customer-facing industry, I want to talk about my customer skills in the gas station. Like that way that my background information relates to my role. So
Yeah.
you don't just go with one thing fits all. Plus, the other thing too is when you see a job ad and you're applying to a job, there's keywords in there that they're looking for. Most companies use a software called ATS, automatic tracking software, that looks for certain keywords. And if your resume doesn't have them, they toss them out. You need to be adding those keywords into every resume before you apply. Otherwise, you're killing yourself. That's probably why you're not having a lot of results. But this whole section needs to be redone. The only thing that's kind of helping you out, and I would reorganize this, is this because it's matching some keywords. But outside of that, like you're not doing yourself a favor here. Okay, we got some information. He's a developer. He's worked almost a year there. Software and analytics team specializing in development of web-based applications for collaboration, sharing information. Developed, a new scraper. Okay, co-created challenge, trivia quiz website. All right, creating an optical OMR web application with Django. Okay, like this is cool. I would probably just have one of these things, and then I would talk about what I've been doing for the 10 months. Like, how did I collaborate on a team? Did I lead an initiative? Like, I like that you co-created. Tell me how you co-created. Like, what did you do? What was the communication? Like, give me some more information here. You were self-employed for 4 months. Whoops, I didn't mean to click on that. Where is it? Well, he's already making the changes now. Okay.
Oh, you're trying to catch up.
uh, all right. And what do you say? So happy to be ripped into. Okay. So I still need information here. You did something for 4 months. What did you do? Content writer, freelance. Okay.
Okay, so that makes sense. There's the writing.
Yeah, I would still have more there, but I wouldn't have the writer at the top. You have good education. That's awesome. You have bachelor's of engineering. That's great. That's cool. You've received a recommendation. That's cool. Your projects, YouTube alternative. Why isn't this higher up? Oh my goodness, that needs to be in your featured section. Look at that. Simple inventory stock.
Take these into your feature.
Oh my goodness, these need to be in your feature. These are good projects. These are projects. Okay, these are projects that you can talk about in an interview. These are projects that will help you stand out. You need to have these in your featured section ASAP. All right. So, where do you rate this profile?
Thankfully, it's after getting an upgrade since we actually since we started. So, the title's fine now. It's actually I don't know why he still has the, or why they have to still have the writer.
Maybe he's trying to get more freelance stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is LinkedIn where you're getting that? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm always a big fan of specializing. I'd put this maybe 4 out of 10 for now.
I think I would agree with you on that. And I see the changes happening, so I know it's going to improve. And I can't wait to see what you do. But also, Gabriel, watch that LinkedIn series. It's really going to help you on a lot of things besides just the profile, but the networking aspect and everything else. Now, Nehemiah, he's next, and he's like, we should probably just skip mine.
No,
I guess
no.
after we've been ripping into it all. No.
Oh, no. Can't see his eyes. Don't trust
him. I wouldn't be using this photo at all for my LinkedIn profile. This is cool for your Twitter profile. By the way, if you're not following Nehemiah on Twitter, go ahead and fix that. Nehemiah is awesome. Phenomenal human being. He's about to hit, I think, 10K followers, so we need to get him there also. But I like the banner. The banner is cool, I suppose. Or you could edit this a little bit, but I would change this for sure. And also, same thing. I want to have the languages next to your full stack. What are you full stack in? Nobody searches full stack developer.
Yeah, use the characters. I maximize that because I'm like digital transformation, web apps, desktop apps, whatever. Like, I'm covering that out because I build entire solutions, so that's why I cover out anyone. If somebody's looking for web apps, they're going to find me.
I'm sus. All right.
Yeah.
Full stack web developer with experience in React, PHP, Node.js. I most recently worked at HomeTalk, a web based internet company, and I'm looking for my next position. Well, okay, you don't need this. Let's get that straight. And let me explain this to you guys. LinkedIn gives you this feature, right? You can toggle that you're open to work. What that does is it puts you in front of, whenever they search certain terms, it puts you in front of all the hiring managers and recruiters. You don't need to say, I'm open to work here, I'm open to work here, I'm open to work here. You're already popping up on the list. If they made it to your about section, you don't need to tell them that you're looking for a position. You need the section to be strong. So we need to rework that in a big way. I definitely need to rework this in a massive way, actually.
And if your profile's strong enough, recruiters won't care if you're not looking for work. They'll still annoy you.
Nehemiah, I'm just curious, and since we know each other, maybe you'll be open with this information with me. LinkedIn gives you a numeric value of how many searches you land in every week, how many profile views you get. Can you just tell me what that number is, and in the chat, just so I have a reference point to see where you are now? All right, your feature section doesn't exist. Your activity, you've made one post. God knows how long ago this was. I want to open it, but
It's okay. You can share myself and Danny's content if you don't want to do your own. We'll
yeah,
take it.
yes, that's fine. I'll allow that. Okay. All right. So Home Talk, full stack developer, created UI components in React and APIs. That's nice. So do you guys see the difference? Like it went from, okay, I'm just doing this one thing, like I made this application, to details. I created UI components in React. That's a keyword. APIs and PHP and like these are keywords. That's great.
Migrated.
Do you
I
guys
like
see what
that.
I'm talking about? Like this is what I've been trying to find this whole time. This is great, Nehemiah. This is great. This is great. This is great. Very good.
If Bryce and you could have babies, you'd have the perfect profile.
Yep, yeah, I would go with that. This is very good. This is actually really good. Develop, migrated, and Selenium scripts and PHP and Laravel. Like these are the things that are going to help you. I'm very curious now what your search results are, because I damn sure didn't get this from this part of the profile. Like you're dropping the ball, because if they don't scroll down, they don't actually realize what you're bringing to the table here. This is good. Followed Kanban methodology. Okay, cool. Created, and then previous position, created better QA tooling, work efficiency. Like this is what I talk about when I'm saying, like, amplify the small wins. It could be a small win when you did one task, whatever. You got to write about it though. It doesn't matter if it's small. It's something you can talk about in an interview to hook. It shows what you're doing besides just coding away. And then after here, don't have any descriptions. So like you've 3 jobs here, you need to fill all this out. Like what did you do all your
157.
157 profile views in the past 90 days. That is not the worst number I've seen thus far. How is it profile viewers in the last 90 days? Is that what it? Oh, who? What about search appearances? That's what I was asking about. Your search appearances. What was your appearances? Search appearances, out of curiosity. Yeah, search appearances is what I was asking about. Profile viewers. We'll talk about that. All right. So then he has the Israel Tech Challenge. He includes his GitHub here, which is great. So your ITC Code and Bootcamp, a 5 month. I would shorten this up a little bit, just because I've already stopped reading. So if I've stopped, then I know a hiring manager is not reading through that as well. All right. And then we have nothing here. I would at least specify a little bit like what you did, but good endorsements, really good recommendations that you received, 2 languages, which is cool. All right. Where do we ranking this profile at? What do you think?
I'm giving it a 2 because he got one section right.
Yeah. Like this, the problem is this is so good that I don't know if they're going to actually reach it. Like if this is what they
Yeah.
land on, I don't know if they're going to have the incentive to scroll. Yeah, it should be like, so when you Nehemiah, when you search, like when you go to your profile and you see your dashboard, it says who viewed your profile, your post views, and then your search appearances. Those 3 numbers together. And let's see. Uh, let's see. I'm trying to see. Okay, I've got one last profile that I'm going to do, and then after that, um, we're not. And okay, like there's nothing to review here, man.
Well, he looks very angry in the
Yeah,
like. Like that's a no no when you're talking to people in general. You know,
yeah.
like roll your eyes and look dismissive of people. So don't give people this first impression for one. I'm sure your forearms are great, but that's not what LinkedIn cares about.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's nothing to review. I mean, it's a one or a zero. Like I give you credit for having a photo, but we have no about section. We have no featured section. I have no experience information here. Like there's nothing to land on. Again, you need the LinkedIn profile. I mean, the LinkedIn series. Here, just so you guys have a metric, right? This is my profile. All right. So everything that I told in the LinkedIn series, everything that I've said, and pretty much everything that I do, this is the exact same thing that I did when I had zero connections. I don't try to give you advice that I wasn't using at that time because I know what I'm doing now can't relate to what I was doing then. It's not the same formula. So in my opinion, I feel it really helps you when you utilize your header to kind of give like a little preview of what you're about. So I created this Danny Thompson. I'm a developer, community leader, and speaker, trying to help as many people as I can. That's the basic idea. I'm a software engineer. Now I changed this so I ended up in less results, but as you'll see in a second, I still landed quite a few. I also hid my company name for privacy reasons because the internet is a very, 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 very weird place. The About section, I'm an experienced leader with demonstrated history of working in computer software engineering, skilled in solving problems with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular, React, SQL, JavaScript framework, management, and employee systems. This is my featured section. As you can see, this is all like popular posts. But like for example, here, like I said earlier, so now you see that there's multiple images here. You're gonna want to scroll. And to be honest, like this has over 1,000 likes. When I posted this in this section, it had like 500. Most of these likes have come from people literally visiting my profile. Like, well, what is this happening here? And then they click on the post, and it opens, and then you'll
I didn't know
see,
you could feature a post like that. I am
yeah,
definitely going to
and then you
steal
can
that.
see like the views on that post alone is 33,000. But
Wow.
and for me, like I want them to go to the post instead of just the website. But you can do either or. There's nothing wrong with doing either or. I just want to be able to explain the context behind things, so it's all clickable. So that's like when I'm helping my kids how to code, and another post that I made, and my see all, and then you go to the see all, for example, and there's quite a bit in here. When I spoke at Google, when I spoke at Microsoft, when I spoke at universities, I spoke at prisons, just things like that. Like any like the speaking, another Google event that I did. So all this, I just hackathon. So like, look at these. Like this is when like I had no following. Like this was very small, and it built up slightly. Like all this 30. I scrolled back to like my beginning. It took me like almost an hour to get back to my first post, and I posted them, and they had zero likes, zero views, and it was that way for a long time. But here's the thing: you want to create that backlog of posts, especially if your goals like for content creation or whatever, because when they find you, you want them to have something to go through. You don't just want them to look at like what you're doing. And now to prove the proof in the pudding, every week this number updates. So this week alone, I landed at over 1,025 results, of which about on average 20% convert over to offering me a job. Now, with that number being said, I don't have anywhere listed that I'm searching for a job. All my toggles are off. And that's what I try to tell people is even if you aren't listed as someone that is trying to find a job, you pop up in results. People will offer you jobs if your profile is strong. If your profile is strong, it produces those opportunities. Almost 11,000 people. This number fluctuates. Like if you look
That's
at the
great.
scale,
That's
for
a
example,
crazy amount of people finding you.
like here, that's when I was making extra posts before the holidays. Then I stopped. So I mean, it peaks, it drops. It just depends on how much I want to post. And to be honest, like when I was searching for my first job in tech, like this number was around probably like 1,100 or so profile views, and I just kept building on it. And that's just I was constantly putting stuff out, constantly putting stuff out. The last post I just made, what, 2 hours ago. It's like 2,200 views now. So that's cool. I erased all this because I didn't want to land in any job results for this. But then I talk about like I'm a TA teaching. I'm on the STEM board writing the school curriculum for high school students. I do a lot. I stay very active. So I've got this free code camp. I took some extra cert classes when I was trying to de-risk myself. Udemy courses because it can't help. But here's the one thing I saw in nobody's: volunteer experience. Now, I'm not saying this changes anything, but I am saying most hiring managers, when they see this, that's the coolest thing about volunteer experience. When they see this, number one, it gives them a warm feel like, oh, this person is active in the community. They're doing things. But here's the other thing with volunteer experience. It never expires. You can volunteer somewhere 5 years ago and you can still talk about it. The other thing, when you do volunteer experience, people that are homeless, for example, are not volunteering. People with jobs are volunteering. So even if you volunteer at a homeless shelter or a soup kitchen or something like that, you're volunteering with other professionals that want to help out. So you're networking. But not only that, you're doing something good for your community. It's a win-win-win. There's nothing else that you could do that has that kind of return on your investment and your life than volunteering. So absolutely volunteer in your community. And anytime I speak at a university or speak at a boot camp, that is the one thing I implore and ask of you is if I've ever helped you in any way, volunteer in your community one way or another, because they need it. And it's your community. You live there. You want it to thrive. Might as well help facilitate that thriving. Then I've got like these little endorsements or whatever. I've got all these recommendations, the languages that I speak, and interest. So overall, this is my profile to try and give you that metric. I try to be open with that just to show you what's possible on LinkedIn. And like, I'm not even like a LinkedIn influencer. Like, I just make a post on there every day. That's about it. So like, there's people on there now that make like 10, 15 posts a day. Like, I see them and like they're doing something completely different than what I'm doing. My goal with LinkedIn, I created the hiring network. I just try to help people get jobs through it. So when there's people that I can help or add value to, or like they're doing something great, and I do like those once in a while. I see like a developer. I never do it if you ask, but if I see something that looks impressive, or I see something that you're doing that's like helping others, I always want to amplify that with my developer shout out. And so I'll shout out things that you're doing, your portfolio sites. If you're doing great things, I want to try and help you get a job, and that's what I do. So, Niall, what would you rate my profile at?
Oh, it's a two, maybe one. I don't know.
I believe that.
That's super impressive. There's a couple of changes I'd like to make after seeing a couple of your own tips during this, because I know mine's stale again, just out of not looking for jobs. But it's still important because I do get potential clients who come across my page.
Oh, LinkedIn.
That's what I mean.
You hit it on the head, and that's what I always say. LinkedIn. Like, so Twitter is great for like connecting with people or like opportunities, but LinkedIn is where money lives. Like, people are on LinkedIn making money moves. People are on LinkedIn because they're making moves for their business. They're increasing their staffing. They have opportunities. They have freelance opportunities. Like, I can't tell you, LinkedIn, I've gotten more freelance opportunities off of than anything else, period.
Same here.
Yeah, LinkedIn. And to answer this question, does LinkedIn Premium matter in all this? Hell no. Like, I don't like LinkedIn Premium. I don't think there's a need for anyone to have it. Like, I know they do like that free trial for a month. Do that and like send out as many messages as you want. But there is zero benefit unless you're a recruiter or someone like that.
Recruiter or sales,
I don't see any
the only
benefit.
time you need it. Recruiter or
sales. Yeah. If you're in sales, it absolutely matters. But for tech, there's zero benefit in having LinkedIn Premium. I don't care what anybody says. Hey man, review mine. I'm done reviewing profiles now, but maybe the next stream I'm going to do it again to try and help people out. God damn, we have a lot of review mine. Please review mine. I'm sorry, guys. Like, well, I got a job too, man. Like, I can't do this all day. Like,
quit
it's
your
1
job
o'clock.
And do this all day, Danny. You know, the people will feed you. You got like €2 during the stream, or €4, I think, was it?
Yeah. Nehemiah said, I'm killing Nail the first next game. So next game that we play. Mine is 35 search results. So that just means if you haven't done my LinkedIn course, you need to really fix that. It's on YouTube. It's for free on purpose. Take it. I swear to God, I feel like if I put a $100 price tag on this course, everyone's going to buy it. But like, I put it out for free. Like, it's helped a lot of people, but I feel like people are like, oh, it's there for free. I'll look at it whenever, and they don't take advantage of it.
You should put that on Podia or somewhere for free, I think, even just so you at least get people's emails to have a contact with them, see how they're getting on. Because I'd love to see how many people are watching that and just never tell you. Because you get the people who you know who've done well, but you don't get I suppose, the cold callers.
Well, I say honestly, like, the way I get messages practically every single day now of people like landing jobs in tech or actually like getting in that situation. Let me stop sharing my screen. And let me put up this banner one more time. Make sure you subscribe to Nail's channel. Nail has been here for almost 2 hours now. And I mean, God, we're both going to get fired. But Nail's been here for almost 2 hours now.
Hey,
Literally
I'm
just.
finished work. I'm finished for work, and you have to, like, I'm okay.
Honestly, like I'm lucky that like we're in a situation where the hours don't matter and you can work pretty much anytime you want in the day as long as your work gets done. But I would say that Nell has been here for almost 2 hours. Nell is a phenomenal human being. He's someone that I'm really, really, really grateful to call a friend. We talk practically every day at this point. Um, Damn sure check his channel out. Go to Kodo Community. He's got an amazing Discord channel, phenomenal developers. Link up with him. Highly, highly, highly recommend that. And I would
Appreciate
say,
it, Danny.
um, in all honesty, like his JavaScript videos are phenomenal. Like if you're learning JavaScript, this is the dude you need to be checking out. And he even live streams himself making websites. Like that's I crashed his last live stream because he was literally making a website using Next.js, and I just popped on. So highly recommend them. Check him out. Let's see. I have 1,700 connections, and out of that, at least 1,000 are recruiters or hiring managers. That is what I'm talking about. Your LinkedIn needs to be very laser focused. And for me, like if you hire somebody that's a car salesman, like not hired, but if you connected with somebody that's a car salesman, that does nothing for your profile, that does nothing for your visibility, that does nothing for your career. You need to be really focused on who you're adding to your network. For me, I literally deleted like all the business people. Now it's kind of whatever. But at that time when I was looking for a job, it was strictly hiring managers, developers, and decision makers for businesses. Period. That is it. And that is how I built my hiring network out. That is how I was able to kind of showcase people that are doing cool different things. Check out the LinkedIn series. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and drop that link one more time in the chat, just so that way you don't have an excuse as to why you haven't watched this, because you're literally killing your chances here. All right. Sounds like the Sham Wow guy. Yeah, I mean, what's weird is like I just know what it does, and to be honest, like I don't charge for any of this because I don't want to make money off of this. I don't want to like really hinder someone's possible progress into entering the field. Like for example, I hate even talking about this, but like Algo Expert, like it is so damn expensive to learn algorithms. But their theory is if you go ahead and do it, then you're getting a job. So pay this money. Like that's such an expensive thing to do when you're trying to get someone into the field. Once you're in the field, you're making money. Cool, charge them whatever. But like when they're still working these minimum wage jobs or these low income jobs, and you're trying to say, "Hey, pay me," $300 or whatever. Like that's nuts, man. Who can do that? But I feel like they monopolize the dream. Like it's the same the way I feel with unpaid internships. I feel like you're monopolizing the dream. Like you're
Oh,
taking
for
advantage
sure.
of somebody's dream. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always taking advantage of that. Now, but again, like I said, for the algorithms and things, they're usually not the first things you get. Usually, most junior jobs you're going for won't heavy hit you out of the park with algorithms either. So I can empathize a little bit with that.
Yeah. Do both free and charge for it when people join and make more money. It's a win-win. Yeah, I would for me, obviously my goals are different. If my goal was to honestly make a lot of money like with social media, dude, I would do this so different and I would be caking it right now. Like, what's funny? I was talking to somebody the other day.
Gold chains he'd
Yeah.
have.
Honestly, like just my impressions alone, it's like 16 million a month on average, right? Like I could totally monopolize the hell out of this and make a lot of money. That's not really the goal. I used to be obsessed with the idea of like, God, I got to make the most amount of money. I remember when I was working 80 hours a week, I was like, man, should I get another job because I want to make the most amount of money? And I was still broke. I was broke as hell. But one thing that kind of changed as an epiphany, like I was like 31, and I was like, you know what? I no longer care about being a rich man on my deathbed, but I am obsessed with the idea of trying to leave the world in a little bit better shape than the way I found it. If I could do that, that's gold for me. That's everything. So that's why I literally do this for free. But I can honestly, charge the hell out of this. Can I talk about my little? This is gonna be the last thing I address. Um, can you talk a little bit about your Twitter course? Sure. So I have my Twitter course. That's the only thing that I ever charge for, period. And the reason for that is, honestly, is a lot of people that I noticed when I was giving out this Twitter advice for free, they were starting online businesses and charging for it. It would be very strange for me to help someone build their business and not charge something for that, at least that information that I'm curating. The Twitter course, honestly, well, we have prime examples here. People like Nehemiah, Devin Ford, like these people took this Twitter course. Like they took it when they had a small following, and now they're blowing up. Like Dan Sprotling, he took the course. Like these are all people that have started with like a small following, and now they're 10,000 and growing strong. Right? Right now, today is the only day I'm doing this. It's a Black Friday sale. Matter of fact, let me get that link for everybody.
Cyber Monday, Danny, you forgot.
Cyber Monday, yeah. You can tell.
Don't trust this guy. He doesn't know what day it is.
Look, you can tell that I'm like not into like the whole sales thing of this because like I just did it because people were like almost forcing me to do it. Like I had gotten like 50 messages this morning, like, "Are you doing a Cyber Monday for the course?" I was like, "Nah, I'm not. I don't want to really pitch it. I don't ever really talk about this, by the way, because I'm like, I don't really want to talk about this. I don't like pitching this. But if people want it, I posted the link one more time. I think I've sold like 50 courses today alone. People really wanted it, so I'm glad I did it, I suppose. But yeah, 57 courses today. Okay, so like that's just me putting it out there. This is hands down. This is the lowest price that I've ever put it at, and I promise you this much: I will never ever put it at this price again. It is today and today only. I will never put it at this price again because it's way lower than what a lot of people have paid for it. I sell the course 99% of the time at $50. So the fact that it's at $18.99, like it will never, ever, ever, ever be that low again. And I only did it because so many people asked, but I won't fall into the peer pressure again. It is today and today alone. And I think that's fair for everybody, especially for the people that were trying to get it. I think that should help out. Otherwise, it'll go back up to that 49 price point. That's where it's going to stay. I don't really like discounting it this low because I feel like maybe some people that paid full price will be upset, but I think they also understand like it's a sale. It's not like this is going to be the permanent price. If it was the permanent price, I'd probably refund everybody. But I'll tell you right now, everyone else pays $49 for it. I have yet to get any bad feedback. Also, this entire Twitter course is backed by 100% money back guarantee. If you feel like for whatever reason that you watched this and you did not gain any value, just send me a DM. Just send me a message, tweet at me, and 100% I'll refund it because I don't want you spending your money if you feel like you got any value out of it. I've yet to give one back yet, but that door is always open. If you felt like you didn't gain value out of it, don't hesitate. Reach out to me, and I'll make sure you get your money back. I'll make sure you're whole. I don't want you spending money on something that you're not happy with. So join the over 300 people. Jordan Whistler. And if you call now, we'll double the offer. Yeah, if you call. That's funny.
Buy it twice.
Buy it twice. Yeah, there you go. But absolutely check that out. Fix that. Make sure you get on top of that today because over 300 people have bought this course. Well, 350 now. But over 300 people have bought this course. Join the 300 people. Blow up on Twitter. I'd love for you. But here's the thing. I don't want you to get this course and then start doing scammy stuff. Be awesome. Create your following, create your audience, and is basically people connecting with your ideas. That's what you want. You don't want the 1 million followers with no engagement. You want the high engagement, and it doesn't matter what follower count you have. So I could talk about this all day long, and I really hope before you leave, you put a like on this video. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube gods will love that. But throw a like on this. But I could talk about this all day long, but I really want you to check out my other videos. So check out my other videos, and I will see you on the next one.